Initially, I started to work with databases, different database technologies. Back then, it was mostly Oracle. So I spent a number of years as an Oracle consultant. I was also a trainer, I was project manager, custom developer. And then I got into the BI data warehousing industry. I wanted to catch up, and the projects that I've been working on were too slow and were too stuck to the technology that they were using. So I decided to make a little career change and focus more on the analytics side, not on the producing of the data, not on how the technology is behind the producing of the data, but more on how to use the data, what is needed for the analytics teams and so on. In my last couple of years, I spent a lot of time with the cloud technologies, with the new modern data stack, and I found out that I enjoy working more closely with the business and less on the hardcore technology. So that's why I decided as a career path to become an analytics engineer, where, in my opinion, we spend much more time with the business, understanding the business logic, understanding the data, the value in the data that the business is looking for, and trying to come up with a solution for them that provides them the possibility to use the data to become a data-driven company, for example. SQL knowledge with all the different gadgets that SQL has is the most important thing. dbt is the tool that is mostly used by analytics engineers, so that's what we use on most or probably all of our projects as a transformation tool. And since most of our projects are abroad, so English language communication is necessary. I had a relatively long time to look around and to really find what I'm looking for. What caught me first with Highfly Labs was how they work, with how they enjoy the work that they are doing daily. That was what caught me first. So the whole mentoring and taking care of the junior in the team, and of course also getting regular feedback from someone, myself. That was also an important thing. So the last piece in the puzzle was when I learned that most of the projects are abroad, and a flexible time frame that suits my personal life very well. And one more thing, the importance of the modern data stack, so that this team that I'm working in now is really knowledgeable about all the different components of the modern data stack, and puts a lot of effort into keeping up with modern technologies, learning them first. I'm a data vault expert, and data vault is something that I think is relatively new to Highfly Labs, and is something that I would like to bring into the company, my knowledge, or let's say strengthen the knowledge of the company with data vault. And then at a new project, that was the first time I encountered data vault about 5 years ago, as far as I remember. And on the face of it, it looks like something very, very simple and very, very standardized, which helps with automation, which gives you the possibility to quickly deliver, to be able to standardize everything that you do, and use automation tools that can generate your code and create it quickly. But the much more important benefit of data vault, in my opinion, is that because of this standardized approach, because of the standards that it applies, it gives you a very, very flexible but easy to scale model in the middle of the data delivery. So when you have the source data and when there is the customer need, in between there is something that you can very, very easily standardized create once you learn all the skills needed for a data vault. The biggest challenge that we are facing is at a customer who have an enormous amount of data. So the data volume that we need to work with is huge, and also the transformation requirements, the calculation requirements that they give us is complex. And because of the complexity and of the size of the data, they have huge performance issues, and that's something that we are facing at the moment. So that's a challenge that I like very much, because that's something where you need to have different skills. You need to have optimization skills, very high level SQL skills to know how you can work with the data in this amount and in this complexity. That's usually something that I enjoy, and actually one of my accomplishments that I'm proud of is also related to this, struggling with the data warehouse to deliver the data by morning next day. It became a small project inside a big project to speed up, to try to find some different solutions. We did it. But that's also related to optimization, understanding what the data is, understanding the different relations and how you can simplify it a little bit, how you can parallelize things and so on. So that's also something that I think is important to, also as an analytics engineer, but I also consider it one of my achievements. He or she should not be only an engineer, but also keen to understand the analytics part of the data, which means talk to the business, understand the business needs, understand what the business wants. On the other end, also understand the data, and then in between, as a translator or as a bridge, deliver the solution what the analytics needs. For this, in my opinion, the communication skills and the business understanding skills are probably the most important. SQL, as I said previously, so SQL is something that we live and breathe every day. But of course, you also need some technological skills. But also, one more important thing is to be interested in learning new technologies. So daily, this industry changes so frequently and so quick that you need to keep up with it, because it's also something that is very valuable.